Okay, I'm gonna start live streaming now. Okay, guys, I'm gonna take us live now. Going live, this may take a few seconds. And we're live. We're still waiting for some participants to trickle in. Welcome.
Hey, welcome everyone. The webinar will be starting shortly. Today's topic will be get your creative campaign launch ready. Hello everyone, welcome to the Entrepreneur Educational Webinar. Since we launched the campaign page review series, we found that our audience has responded strongly, and we are glad to see how much the campaign page review sessions have benefited all of your preparation work. So today we're starting out our series on how to get your creative campaign launch ready. And we're excited for you to join us today. So my name is Sham, and I'm the hardware manager here at Indiegogo, and my role is to help find interesting products and campaigners and help them bring their products to life by providing them with strategy and insight into the crowdfunding process. Here today with me, I have Amy Chu from our campaign strategy team, who is one of our experts on user acquisition and back-end engagement strategies.
Hi, everyone. I am Amy. So thank you for joining today. I have been with Indiegogo for the past few years, working with some of our top campaigners from startups to enterprise across APAC, North America, and EMEA markets. I am also part of the concierge services here at Indiegogo, which is the internal marketing agencies for our campaigners. So really having those hands-on experiences on planning out the strategy and optimizing the execution for the campaign launches. I am very excited to share my knowledge with you out today.
Thanks, Amy. And hi, I'm Megan. Nice to be here. As a campaign strategist at Indiegogo too, I work with a wide range of entrepreneurs from early stage startups to enterprise companies. And over the past 4 years, I've helped campaigns raise over $180 million. I also have experience being a crowdfunding campaigner myself. So before coming to Indiegogo as a marketing manager, I also worked on an Indiegogo campaign that raised $250,000. So excited to be here and share my experience and knowledge with you all too.
Yeah, glad to have both of you guys with us today. So during the session, you're welcome to leave your comment using Zoom's Q&A feature. If you're watching the webinar on LinkedIn Live, you can leave a comment directly in the comment section. Our marketing team will go through the comments throughout the entire session, and we'll send those comments our way. We'll try to do our best to answer all of them at the end of the session if time allows. You're also welcome to drop a comment on the LinkedIn post or share your feedback in the chat for us to improve our future sessions. And don't forget, stay with us until the end of the webinar and you will have a chance to be entered into our lucky draw. For those of you who are streaming the session through LinkedIn Live, our lucky draw will be based on the Zoom attendee list that's visible to our marketing team here. So if you'd like to enter the lucky draw, come sign up on the Zoom registration page to have your name populated on the attendee list. So today we're going to be covering the 3 topics right here: must-haves of a successful creative campaign, how to connect with your backers to optimize conversions, and also watch campaign strategists optimize campaign pages in real time. So you might be thinking to yourself, why Indiegogo? Well, Indiegogo is where groundbreaking technology is launched and discovered. In the past 24 months, we've had over 24 million monthly active users. Since our founding in 2008, 1.7 million campaigns have successfully launched, and 308 campaigns have raised over $1 million on Indiegogo. Our backers span across 247 countries and regions. And we're the platform where innovative new products take flight before they hit the mainstream market. But the technology on the platform is just as exciting as the technology that keeps the Indiegogo platform running. Our proprietary marketing tools for campaigners, such as our open comments, Facebook Pixel, and secret perk, make running a successful campaign less dictated by luck, but rather a process that anyone can drive. So here are a few key points to take away. Our pre-launch discussions allow you to communicate with prospective backers and build a following even before your campaign launches. This past February, we rolled out the pre-launch discussions to all campaigners on the platform. And when looking at the data, we found that 23% of users who comment on a pre-launch discussion page come back to actually back the campaign. You'll be able to enable the pre-launch discussions as soon as you've created a campaign draft on Indiegogo. Once you do enable pre-launch discussions in the campaign dashboard, a dedicated URL will be available for you to share the pre-launch discussions page with your prospective backers on your pre-launch email list. Also, a pre-launch page is not required to enable pre-launch discussions, but it is suggested so backers can see what you're planning on launching. So now, without further ado, I will let Amy and Megan, our campaign strategists, take the floor.
Yeah, thank you, Sean, for the warm intro. And really excited to share our insights today with everyone. So hi, everyone. If you are just joining, I am Amy from the campaign strategy team here at Indiegogo. It is my pleasure to share the campaign page best practices with the creators like you all today. And today, throughout the session, I will be explaining the thinking behind those general guidelines to help you conceptualize the rules that we discuss. I also hope after today's webinar, you will be able to pull some of these actionable ideas to begin with. So here, let me start our presentation today with this statement. A campaign is really, only be done right through crowdfunding when you keep in mind that your audience comes first and then fundraising comes second. And this is really important as crowdfunding is all about crowd. So you want your crowds to understand your story and support your ideas as they are really interested in making your idea come into life. So with this attitude above, let's dive in. When it comes to creators on Indiegogo, we have found that film projects really lead the way. As we notice over the past year, we have a lot of successful funded campaigns on the platforms coming from this category. We are also seeing across the platform, the average plus for our creative campaigns the last year is around $85. And meaning that you are able to, calculate the number of pledges that you're able to raise depending on the pre-launch community building work that you have done. And we've also found the reason most funded creative campaigns are these three. The first one is Obsessed Fest 2020. This is a true crime podcast and documentary event that raised over 400 backers, 400 funds. And then the other, Brendan Sanders' White Sand graphic novel. This is an epic tale by New York Times bestselling author Brandon Sanderson. And then another one is Yaspa's Bed and Breakfast Game project. This is a slice of a live legacy tabletop role-playing game about a found family and their magical home. So throughout the session today, we will also use the real examples from our platforms to help you understand how these creators develop their campaign page and how they are able to make the fundraising successful. A couple of high-level guidelines for people to keep in mind when you are building your audience for running a creative campaign. First of all, make sure that you start building that community before your campaign even goes live on Indiegogo. As I emphasized earlier, crowdfunding is about the crowd, so you want to show people why your project worth their support and what would be part of this project throughout each milestone. And this is especially important when your creative project has not even be produced yet. You want to show people what are the early sketches or even ideas to help people visualize or conceptualize what the project encompasses. Another part of building the audience is really to keep the conversations going with your audience. You want to make sure you're building the relationship with them who are interested in your idea. And you also want to solicit their feedback early on to make sure that they are giving you positive feedback, and you can act on those feedback to improve your ideation and feedback process. Another thing to keep in mind as you ramp up your audience building effort, you also want to make sure that you are tapping into the right segment, meaning that you don't necessarily need everyone to like your idea or support your idea. You just need to make sure that there's a segment of audience who would be interested in your idea and would be the evangelist to support you early on, so that you can have a big enough audience pool to ramp up the crowdfunding campaign. So with all of those principles in mind, first of all, I want to help everyone get more familiar with the Indiegogo campaign page. If you are not a Indiegogo user in the past. So here, this is an example of a creative campaign on our platform. As you can see, there are a couple of elements on a campaign page, from the above the fold, which is above the line that I cross here. This is really the area that a browser window, or approximately 600 pixels from the top of the page. This is the most important inventory because it is first visible when a visitor loads the page. It is also the prime real estate that gets the most attention from the visitor. Because of the high visibility, the content that you put up here should be eye-catchy to trigger interest in order to achieve your funding goal. Your video, video overlay, gallery, title, tagline, campaigner profile, and product stage should immediately grab users' attention and present them with the content that they are looking for so that they don't bounce and visit another web page. When you scroll down to the lower part of the page, you will see that this is a full story and the perks would be visible on the right if it's on a desktop browser. So here you will provide the details of your project ideas to motivate people to contribute. A good pitch will be compelling, informative, and easy to digest. In terms of the perks, these are the incentives offered to prospective backers in exchange for their monetary contribution. So the way that you offer the perks would vary depending on, the type of creative project that you launch. If it's a film project, perk types could vary from the film premiere event to DVD to the meetup. We'll go into deeper into this part as we go to the perks section. But here I want to show you how your rewards and perks would look like on a campaign page. So you will know what to expect next. So as we talked about the campaign page structure, I also want to show you how your campaign page will look like on a mobile device. Keep in mind mobile first when you build out your campaign page and tell your story. As we are seeing from the past 3 years, 70% of Indiegogo's visitors coming from mobile devices, and a mobile-friendly campaign page is really important to capture people's interest and even convert them into backers. So the more transparent and clear your content is on mobile, the more likely that you can keep people continue reading. So a key to mobile first principle is in fact a content center attitude. On the one hand, you want to save the design time and improve designers' productivity. On the other hand, you also want designers to pay more attention to the content of your project. So this really helps you to hone in on the most prime content to create the neat and practical web design for your campaign page. So here the examples will show you how you can create a layout that focuses on clear product and the rewards, as well as the ideas and the story. And generally speaking, you do not need a fancy graphic design to have a well-funded campaign. However, if you do not want your campaign page easy for visitors to navigate through the information and make those information easy to find as possible, that may discourage the users from continue learning more about your project and then just bounce from the campaign page. So coming up, I want to show you a few principles on how people are browsing the campaign page and the key information that they are looking for. A few important information that people use to gauge your trusted level on a campaign page is first, your project timeline. Do you already have a project plan that can help people understand, the milestones that you will hit throughout the project? Do you have any third-party testimonials or reviews about your project or even about your team behind this project? You also want to make sure that you have regular and consistent communications on the campaign page. This is where the users use to gauge your trustworthiness. If you are consistent engaging with people on the campaign page, such as posting updates and responding to comments, these will show people that you are really serious about the project, you care about the supporters, and this will serve as a credibility. Lastly, evidence of your campaign progress. This is about whether you keep your supporters and prospective visitors posted on how you are currently working on the project. For example, if there are certain delay, did you actually show people early on to set the expectations right? Or have you unlocked any exciting opportunities for the project? And if you communicated these on a campaign page, these will help you build a more trustworthy following. So we just looked at the campaign page structure and the key principles that you should keep in mind when you are building your pre-launch community and campaign page. I hope this will give you a better understanding of the important elements on a campaign page. And now let's break it down to discuss each element that fall under a different section of the campaign page. So first of all, it's the title, then tagline, video overlay image, team owner profile, and gallery. So as we listed out here, the title should really include the keywords that explain what the product is. The tagline, you would want to, draft this as if you are speaking to your audience directly to explain the benefits and the key story of your project. Video overlay image would also help you to convey your product idea clearer and give the context about what the project is about without being too busy. Then lastly would be the team owner profile. You can choose to have a team's logo or even use your, as a founder, your own professional portrait to add a human touch to your campaign. And then lastly, in the gallery, make sure you have enough related and relevant images regarding your project. Even your custom testimonials or any third-party reviews will help your users understand your product and project more. So here is the recommended story format that we advise you to reference while you are building out your campaign page. So you will start with a clear intro headline and follow it by, a clear image about your project, the description. You could also choose to have infographics to list out the key highlight of your project. For example, if you have a certain celebrity endorsement, this will also be very helpful when you put in the press section. Then use case, how it works, and a comparison chart if there's any similar projects out there already. And lastly, perks and your fulfillment timeline. You will also want to include the team files and pictures just to make sure you give enough transparency about your own team's background. So people would be able to research you or even learn about your stories to tell whether you're a trustworthy campaigner or not. In terms of your visual design and presentation, a few things to keep in mind. The most important thing would be your unique selling point, and it should always go first to hook the users up. Users will only read on when they are interested in your product ideas, and this will be largely dependent on the above the fold information. Transparency is really crucial, so don't be afraid of showing the behind the scene content. For example, the production, the casting process, if it's a film project, and even these content are not like 100% polished, they really build up the trust among the prospective backers. Mobile first, as we mentioned earlier, so keep your layout neat and the content concise to the point. It is important to focus on delivering your project only what users are looking for while cutting out the fluff that may distract them. You would also want to have clear hierarchy to distinguish the headlines, the paragraph, and make it as skimmable and digestible as possible. Keep in mind the story is editable and can evolve during the funding stage. So you don't need to include everything upfront. As the campaign progresses, you will be able to edit the story and include new information as you see fit. So here we have a couple of examples that we want to show you of how creative campaigns are utilizing different visual elements to tell their story.
Yeah, as Amy said, to highlight really these visual rules of thumb, we have the Yaziba's Bed and Breakfast tabletop game that we mentioned earlier. And I really want to highlight a few of these visual storytelling aspects that they did really well on their campaign page. For creative works projects, I know there's not necessarily a physical product to show off, but when there is renders or product shots work well as visual examples of what's being raising funds for on the campaign. But if there is an intangible product, showing any aspects that will bring the product or project to life to help visually tell the story work well. So for example, for Yozibas, since it's a role-playing game, they have graphics of the residents of the different characters from the game on the example on the right. So bringing to life what will be a part of the game or the part of the project or game in this example, and then just being able to use graphics to convey the features and benefits of the campaign itself too. Other aspects the Yozibas campaign did well was they had a free play kit available to download. So you could do a quick trial of it just to see what it's like as well. And then for like films, for example, you could have a YouTube video as a trailer as another visual storytelling too, or a gameplay trailer if it's a game as well.
Great. Then another example that I would like to share here is the Star Trek Voyager documentary project. This campaign launched in 2021 and is one of our biggest creative campaign last year. This specific campaign, they does not use a graphic heavy approach on their campaign page, but what they have done well is to communicate how they will use the funds raised in different areas of the project and the sequence of the project task through an infographic, as I included on the slides here. Another key element of making your creative project really exciting to your audience is that you will want to provide clear mock-ups of the spin-offs that you offer. So after all, your creative work is still in production, and having something tangible that your audience can already visualize before your project goes live would be more convincing to get people's support when they like your story, characters, or cast. And in addition to the visual design, the video content, especially the short format, is another engaging storytelling method. In the same example, the campaigner actually invited a few Star Trek actors, producers, including Alice Crick, Ethan Phillips, and Garrett Wang to record short videos to thank their backers and motivate backing and sharing throughout the campaign. They release these content at different milestones of the campaign phase to create excitement and engagement. So this is an approach that you can also take when you have the resources in place.
Hi.
Hello, Star Trek fans. Garrett Wang here.
We have reached.
Okay. And next, in terms of copywriting for your campaign page, first of all, make sure you determine your tone of voice upfront to help you conceptualize, what kind of voice or tone that you want to tell the story. You would also want to start sketching out the gist of your story and your idea. Make sure to apply a second person tone to speak to your audience that will resonate with the audience more. So here, an example of a good copywriting is from the Yaswa Bed and Breakfast example.
Yeah, and to highlight a few pieces here that on the campaign page that Yoziba did well, for example, for the tagline, it's really important since that is at the top of the page to clearly explain your product benefits so the viewer knows right away as soon as they land on the page what the campaign is all about and what the product is all about. So for example, we have them listed right here just for you to reference as well. And then throughout the campaign, in general, it's a good idea not to be super text heavy, but at the top, you will really want to make use of giving a short description of the product. So again, concisely conveying the product details and features, keeping in mind that not everyone's going to read the entire campaign page. So ways to help highlight features of the campaign, you could make use of bolding. So for example, right here, we've bolded it as well, but on the campaign page, the Yoziba's Bed and Breakfast campaign has these also highlighted as well. So really making sure those key features and benefits are easy for readers and viewers to see.
And another example from the Star Trek Voyager documentary project is how they are being specific about the team and the project. As shown in the example here, such as their tagline, they actually demonstrate their track record to help establish the credibility. And they've also done a great job by really building a connection with their target audience. So including a short snippet about the origin and the story behind this project to help your audience get excited about how you started this idea.
And then moving on to perk strategy and how to format your perks. Overall, when creating perks, it's important to keep the pricing and structure itself simple at launch. Since backers can only claim one main perk at a time, and easy to understand perk structure will go a long way in helping avoid choice paralysis. You don't want to overwhelm the page with too many options there. So to start, for the perk structure itself, I'd recommend launching with about no more than 6 perks available. Of course, during the campaign, you can continue adding or hiding perks along the way, depending on what you want to continue showing, or you could also subtract as well. So having about 6 perks to start is a good baseline. And then from there, you'll also want to feature your most popular product option. Perks are listed from based on price from low to high. So if maybe your most popular perk option is not the lowest price perk, you want to make sure that's featured so it appears at the top of the perk list. And then for the perk title itself, it's important to include the product name. And then if you want to as well, I would also recommend including language about exclusivity or urgency, just so that you could build more excitement for it. So terms that work well, or early bird or VIP, along with your product name there. And then you're also able to set the quantity. So that is also a way to help build a sense of urgency as well. So you could always add another perk or increase the quantity as you sell out, but having that baseline there to create excitement and really kick off the urgency to get the perk before it sells out is important as well. And then the other main component that is key is the perk image itself. It will be one of the main items that viewers will see first. So showing the product is important, so people will know visually right away what each item or each perk is for. And so if you have different color options or bundles, it's also important to include each of those aspects in there as well. And then breaking it down with an example from the Uzibas campaign, I wanted to highlight a few aspects they did well too. So for going back to the perk structure and how to feature a perk. So for example, they have the $60 perk option listed as the featured perk, one of their more popular ones that they wanted to highlight for viewers. And so in this case, it appears above the $20 perk. So making sure that's highlighted for viewers to see. And then also a great example of using perk images to clearly showcase which items are included. They have a few different bundle options, so they did a good job of showing different items included in each. And then if it's an intangible product, they created a graphic, was shown in the digital edition one with the $20 perk as a way to convey what the product is when there's not a physical product to show.
Yeah, and then here again, in this Star Trek Voyager documentary example, you can see as a film project, the campaign team developed a variety of perks associated with the main product, which is the film. You can also see how they further develop other spin-offs based on the characters and the production team. So on this slide, you can see perk types that they offer during the campaign phase include the DVD, shirts, pins, swag bag, mug, and even a 1-year subscription plan to subscribe to the related content produced by the production team. So these are different type of perks that you can offer for a creative project. On top of that, they also have developed more like experiences type of perks from official and credits to Premier to Meetup. And note that this campaigner, they also allows their backers to make small amount of donation. This specific tactic would be helpful when you are running creative projects to convert your less engaged audience. So these are people who may, still be interested in the success of your project idea, but they may not have the resources or at the right time feel that motivated to support the other larger amount of contribution. And so a small donation would be helpful to help them support your project and convert them into a backer.
Then I also want to highlight another perk strategy option, which are secret perks. Secret perks are a great way to create an exclusive perk for a particular audience. Secret perks are only available to visitors via a unique link that you distribute. So only those viewers with the link will be able to see it, not everyone on the campaign page, the main link. And then the secret perk will also show on top of the perk list above the featured perk. Secret perks are a great way to give to influencers or a special promotion deal that you don't want everyone to make use of, and also a great way to use for retargeting as well. And then also wanted to break down another way to diversify your perk options with add-on perks. Add-on perks are a way to add existing perks onto the main perk available. So backers will see this at the checkout process, and they can continue adding on any additional perks you have at that checkout page. They don't have to either, but it's a great way to add upgrades or accessories to the main product. And it's also very helpful to increase the average order value, which is particularly helpful for creative project campaigns as well, when the main base product may not have a high dollar amount for, like, for example, like a $20 digital version of the film. So having these extra add-ons are a great way to increase that average order value. And also we have highlighted in a snapshot of what to expect for in terms of the dashboard. This is just a screenshot of what to expect with the campaign page insights dashboards, and for the referrals, and then also on the on your end of what you'll be able to see as well, with key metrics of what you'll be able to see with contributions and traffic and traffic sources, and then the option to plug in your Google Analytics as well for additional insights. And that takes us to reviewing the campaigns. Next, Amy and I will share the campaigns that we've selected and reviewed to help you easily understand how to apply the best practices we just went over to a real campaign draft. And you might be surprised how much you can learn by looking at other people's campaigns as well. It's a good rule of thumb to just explore what's on Indiegogo to see what other campaigns are doing as well. So first up, our first example campaign submission we have is Cocktails with Nick and Lana. This is a campaign for a film. And first, I will break down just the top of the fold. Top of fold is the main, what you see first when you're looking at the campaign page. So right away, I would say for the video aspect of it, I would recommend including a video overlay image, just so it's a nice, neat way to have enough context to explain what the product is without being too busy. Right now, when you look at it, a viewer might not know right away what the product is for or what the campaign is all about. So adding in a video overlay image, you are able to have more control of showing the viewer what the campaign is all about. And then also another aspect I would recommend editing is the campaign tagline. It appears right beneath the title. So, and I would, to go back to what we mentioned before, I would use the campaign tagline to describe the product or what the campaign is for. In this case, again, it's not clear right away what the campaign is raising funds for. So I would definitely mention it's a film in this tagline as well. And then to break down the main campaign page itself, for the story section, overall, the outline structure of what the campaign is about is pretty good of breaking down what the campaign is for and why they are raising funds. So it is a very text heavy and I would avoid doing so. Again, viewers are not likely to read every word of it. So I would recommend using images, infographics, videos, to convey these messages, just so that it's easy for viewers to understand what you're raising funds for, why it's important, and to break up these text-heavy sections. And then to take a look at their perks, they did a good job of making bundled perks, as mentioned before, of having different options. However, I would recommend editing the perk images. The images should depict what's included with the perk. So at a first glance, viewers might be a bit confused of what they're getting. They might mistake it as maybe getting cocktails or a glass of wine and not make the connection that it's kind of alluding to what the film is about. So I'd make sure to include graphics or images of say like a digital copy or the poster, which is included in the film Fanatic 1.
Yeah, and then just to add to the perk image part, keep in mind that be very careful when you're using the stock images or using images created by other people that you found on the internet. It's a better approach that you create those assets yourself, even though you may not have the film project produced yet. You could still try to utilize sketches or just film the photos that you taken yourself to help you create those creative assets for the campaign page. The next example that we selected here is about Snow Kill snowboarding video game. This is also an interesting project that the creator wants to create a Mario Kart-like video game with the characters that the team has developed. I think what this specific campaign can be improved. For example, that's from the title. First of all, I would be very careful about using special symbols in the project title, like it is right now. This is especially because it may be removed by Google or search engine because of these special characters included in the title text. Google most of the time will remove that. So keep in mind, if you do not want this to impact your search results in the search engine, you may want to consider renaming this project title. And in terms of the tagline here, I would also consider reframe your tagline to make your original characters and unique game settings stand out more. Something along this line, let's race on the snowy slopes, a Mario Kart style snowboard video game with 13 original animated characters. These examples will help people visualize more about what your game is about, the settings, and what are the characters that you created for this specific project. In terms of things that this campaigner has done well, I think they have really done a great job showcasing the teasers of this project and the sketches of the characters that the team has developed specifically for the video game. When it comes to the story right now, based on what we are able to see, there's an infographic about the characters included in the game. But right now, the story is really text heavy and the details are not enough to help people understand how this project will be developed and what's the plan for the team to fulfill the project. So what I would do there is really to, apply the principles that we just discussed earlier to break down the story by your topic, what's the motivation behind this project, the characters in your video game. Give them more colors by, specifying their names or even, the story of each character, and make sure to have a clear development and release plan. You would also want to include, the team behind this project and the channels that you may consider to distribute the game. And these would make it a more concrete plan to help people understand your project better. In terms of the perks, this specific campaigner has done well by having a clear perk names. They also have a wide range of perk types that they offer and develop based on the characters that I just mentioned above. However, right now, there's no perk card images available. And there's also a missing opportunity that I think can be included, such as offering people the early access to the game, which is the most important product that you offer through this project. So what I would do next to improve the perk setup is really to add those perk card images to help people visualize what they can expect from supporting your project. You should also consider really leveraging the characters that you develop for this video game, such as creating spin-off, and you could even solicit feedback from your supporters who are interested in this project to see how popular each character is. And you can decide your perk strategy based on their preferences. And then try to incorporate the access to the game itself into your perks. Does it require any fees, subscription? These information should also be communicated in the project so that people know what to expect when they provide monetary support to your idea. And then the third example we have selected here is the Superhuman Blueprint Moving Beyond Health project. This is a project where the creator, wants to help people who want to have really solid training program and principles to follow. And he further developed the ebook, the training program through digital training. And in terms of how we could help this campaign to be more successful, the first thing that I will look at would be, the title. Here, I noted down that I would try to be more specific about how the content will benefit the readers. Right now, the title only states moving beyond health, but it is not clear about the benefits that people will receive. So I may consider, being more specific about such as this may increase the energy level or, help people lead to a long life. This kind of benefit will help you tell the project idea and benefits in a more clearer way. And then in terms of the tagline, here, even though the campaigner stated the ultimate, fill-proof program to regain your energy, there's no clear idea about whether this has been tested or proven yet. So I would try to establish your credibility and authority more by really, leaning on your professional background or any social proof that you can showcase in the tagline. So for example, I believe this creator is actually a certified medicine professional. This would be the type of contacts that you want to disclose in the above the fold section. In terms of the video overlay image, right now, as you can see in this slide, it's not clear that this is actually a ebook or training program until I share with the audience here. So I would try to use like a book in the overlay image to convey that the project type of this. And then make sure you also provide a few like teaser, short snippet of the training courses that you offer in the digital program so that people know there's more beyond just the ebook. And then in terms of the story, right now, the team has done a great job to have clear package details about what he's going to offer at this time. And there are also clear benefits in the story that speak to the audience if they really apply the program and start utilizing the information there. I think what can be done well is right now you do not have the preview of the ebook and videos to help people understand what the plan is about. And I would make sure that you prioritize that in the story section. Also, as I mentioned earlier, right now the author's story is not legible and it's really buried at the bottom of the story. As you see, there's a My Story section here. So I would try to really, highlight your own background a bit more to build that trust among your audience. And you would also want to have the project timeline and development plan in the story to showcase how you will deliver your project in a more specific way. So this is about the story of this project. In terms of the perks, right now, based on the setup, it seems to me that they have a clear perk set up already with the titles and perk card images communicating clear about the product. Right now, there's no an expiration date of the access to the digital program or how frequent you will update your training program. This will be helpful when it comes to a subscription plan because you want people to commit to your program in the long term, and you would want them to understand how fresh the content would be and how long the subscription will last once they make that initial payment. So I would, what I would do here is, make sure you feature the perk that you want to highlight the most, and that will help you promote it at the upper part of the perk section. I would also rename the perks by using, more really like marketing languages. Right now, you only utilize names such as only ebook, digital program. These are not marketing savvy enough to really convince people to claim the perks. So I would try something, for example, more standard to tell the urgency of the perks, such as like super early perk. And then I will also clarify if the video program is a subscription model or not, or does it only require one-time payment for people to unlock the access that they can utilize for a longer period of time. So these are the 3 examples that we have selected to share with everyone. Now, we would like to summarize a few key learnings that you can draw from all these examples.
Yeah, to highlight these key takeaways, I think we've probably mentioned this quite a bit throughout the webinar so far, but to really echo it again, to keep in mind to not assume that someone will read your whole entire campaign page. So a good way to do so when previewing your campaign is to skim and not read. And when you're skimming the campaign page, make sure you are able to yourself find the key benefits and features about your product or what the project is for. So viewers who are unfamiliar with what you're raising funds for are able to also get those main takeaways too. And then as you're doing that, another key takeaway is to fine tune your story. So focus on what motivates you and why you are bringing this campaign to crowdfunding, and make sure those really are highlighted throughout the story as well. So it engages the viewer as well, and they see what is motivating you as well. And then also focus on what your viewers would want to see with perks as well. So making sure that content is highlighted in the perks itself. So be sure to preview the campaign page on mobile too. It'll be just so it's formatted and optimized as well, so viewers will be able to see the perks are what's clearly conveyed on the perks, and it's really conveyed concisely as well. And then also, which goes hand in hand with that, is setting expectations right. So crowdfunding is not shopping. And so being able to put those realistic expectations about the project development, making sure the timeline is clear, and when to expect, if you do have a physical product, when to expect that, or if it's a film, for example, when the release date will be that. So just really making sure expectations are clear with viewers, and then keeping a direct line of communication throughout, even post-campaign, making sure to frequently update your backers, and commenting and being part of the engaged in the discussions as well that will be on your campaign page.
Wow, thanks for going over all of that, Megan and Amy. I think the reviews provide great insight on what to look for when building and reviewing a campaign. And to build on top of that, I suggest checking out more of our articles in our Education Center. Indiegogo's Education Center is a robust resource for entrepreneurs. It contains articles and insider tips from Indiegogo professionals and insiders, with the intention to help you learn everything you need to know about running a successful campaign. The articles mentioned here are really just the tip of the iceberg of the massive knowledge that we can provide. Find the Education Center by visiting Indiegogo's website, and then look for the Education Center in the link in the footer, or search Indiegogo Education Center on Google. So here are some key resources for everyone to take a look at. We have the Indiegogo Film Booster Pack. We also have the How to Craft Your Compelling Campaign Strategy. Really, it's a conversion optimized campaign page template paired with comprehensive strategy guide, specifically designed for our film entrepreneurs. The next guide really helps teach you how to tell your story, translates your unique value propositions clearly, and speaks to your audience. Leveraging all of this helps you save a lot of time and gets your campaign up and running. Also, keep in mind our Education Center Plus goes live today. It requires an Education Center Plus membership, which starts at $9.99 a month. Next, over here, we have our campaign strategist, who will also be able to provide some unique and tailored solutions. We have some paid services that you can choose to opt in for if you're looking for a more handheld solution. Our goal is to help alleviate some of these responsibilities of preparing for your campaign for success. If you're interested in learning more about our concierge service, feel free to sign up using the link in the chat, and we'd be happy to dive deeper with you and discuss details and pricing. So now we're going to be hosting the frequently asked questions. And to kick things off, we have a few questions that we have lined up over here. I'm going to switch off between Amy and Megan and have them answer your questions. So to start off over here, how should I approach pre-launch community building for creative campaigns? Amy, you want to take us off here?
Yeah, of course. So as we briefly touched upon earlier during the presentation, for creative campaign, it's very important that you start building your pre-launch community early to find your the people share that same interest as you do, and the cast, if it's a film project, or even your network, your families and friends, or related events such as festivals would all be great ways and avenues where you can find that community. You could even, start from some of these private groups on different social media platforms to find those like-minded people to help you gather the crowds from.
And then on top of that, as you're creating and building this community and generating email leads, you also want to create a space for your community to gather and interact and engage with. So whatever platform resonates the most with your audience and community. So for example, a lot of campaigners will create a private Facebook group or a Discord server or a Reddit subreddit as well. So just wherever your audience likes to interact would be a great space to also engage with your community as well and set up on your own, just so you can keep your audience active and engaged up and during the pre-launch phase and up until the launch as well.
All right, next question over here. How much paid media budget do I need to launch a creative campaign? Megan, you want to take this one?
Sounds good. I would say this really depends on your goals for the campaign and how much you want to raise. But to give a rough general ballpark amount to start with, I would start off with roughly 20% of your internal goal. And then that could be adjusted up or down depending on how much you want to raise.
Yeah, and just to add, for many other campaigners who used to, run paid media campaigns to build that community before the campaign even goes launch, I would say for creative campaigners, it is more important that you rely on words of mouth. For example, the endorsements, the influencer partnership, or even press release to help you create that buzz before the campaign goes live. And so if you are thinking about where to invest your budget to, you might want to consider the other avenues that I mentioned other than the paid media campaigns.
Awesome. And lastly, does influencer partnership help with my creative campaign? Amy, you want to take this one?
Yeah, or I can go first, but yes, similar to the previous one, it really it depends on your product as well and project category. It is harder to iterate on influencers, and PR is harder to iterate on compared to digital ads and email marketing, but it also can be very effective depending on your vertical product category or niche and the connection that influencer has with your target audience. And one way to help maximize the use of partnering with an influencer would be to give them a secret perk as well, so that there's that extra layer of exclusivity when they're messaging that to their audience too.
Yeah, and also when you are trying to look for the right influencers to partner with, make sure that you are looking for the right niche that will help you reach the target audience. For example, let's say if you are helping to raise funds for a comedy project, it would make more sense that you are partnering with other comedians in the similar space to help you reach other prospective audience who will be interested in your project.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. So next up over here with the Q&A. So if anybody who has been listening to the entire webinar has any questions, feel free to drop it into the Q&A portion of the chat over here, and we will be answering it. So first question over here. My question is, how successful can affiliate/referral campaigns be, and what affiliate companies do you recommend? Kickbooster? Amy, you want to take a stab at this?
Sure. We have commonly seen affiliate referral campaigns being successful on our platform, especially these referral campaigns can bring in high quality traffic from your backers network. And so the conversion that we are seeing over there is usually much higher than the other traffic sources. And a general rule of thumb for the page conversion rate for you to benchmark your performance is we will want it to be above 1%. And so we commonly see referral campaigns being helpful to drive up that conversion rate. And the Kick Booster tool is also part of our expert directory, and it is one of the common tools that our campaigners are using to run referral campaigns when they want to offer cashbacks or other incentives and manage them cohesively in one central platform. And alternatively, you could also choose to just use Indiegogo's referral tool on the campaign page. That will help you generate the referral link to help you track the contribution and visit brought in by different sources under our referral dashboard. So hope that answered the question.
Yeah, thanks, Amy. Next question over here. For products such as ours, a coffee roaster appliance, is a rule of thumb for the campaign length? They're thinking of doing a campaign for 4 weeks and then will likely continue into in-demand post-campaign. Any suggestions there, Megan?
Yeah, I would say generally starting off with about a 30-day campaign is most effective, just so it's a good amount of time to have that sense of urgency for viewers that to get the perks before the campaign is over. And then depending on your production timeline, another option that we have available on Indiegogo is extending the campaign. So you are able to run a maximum 60-day campaign. So at that 30-day mark, and I would recommend if you are extending, I'd recommend doing so on the last day of the campaign, just so you're able to maximize that sense of urgency up until the very last minute. And then from there, you can extend a week or up to 30 more days if you would like, depending on how long you want to continue in the crowdfunding phase. And then from there, definitely recommend opting into in-demand so you can continue raising funds post-campaign as you are preparing for fulfillment and from there as well.
Awesome, thanks, Megan. We have a really interesting question over here next. So this anonymous attendee is asking, as a film production that does not know about the distribution plan yet, what can we provide as perks other than normal t-shirts or posters, which don't seem very interesting to me personally? Amy, you want to take a,
yeah, I can take this one first. So for a film project, I think when you do not have the concrete plan yet, something to keep in mind is that you are still able to offer some of the experiences that your audience may be interested in participating. So for example, you could have the meetup, or you could have the supporters being part of your production plan, or even invite them to be the on-site, audience if they are interested in being part of your production. So I would say focus a bit more on what are the type of experiences that you can offer in exchange for their monetary support. And Megan, feel free to add more thoughts here.
Yeah, exactly that. Any sort of exclusive type of perks that you could offer that are not necessarily a physical product work well, and just like being a part of the film. Sometimes like you could even offer being a part of the credits or like a producer role in the credits as well as another option that's popular with films. Or if you can do digital versions first, or if you want them, if it's able within your budget, you can even have like an option as being an extra in the film or something along those lines too. Just further engaging them and having your audience be really a part of the full project.
Awesome, thanks guys. We have one more question here. Do you think we have enough time to keep moving along? Yeah, all right, let's do it. Awesome. So last question over here. how can a campaign improve its chances of maximum exposure early on Indiegogo through being chosen for staff picks, etc.? Any suggestions, Megan?
Yeah, so on our website itself, the placements are based on our own internal algorithm called the GoGo factor. So there's a lot of components to that, and they're not necessarily in the same order, but it has some of the components are traffic and then funds raised and percentage of goal hit. So one of the key components to that is making sure you have a lot of momentum at the start, just to help with the visibility. So really going back to the earlier recommendations of community building. So you want that good momentum to start at the beginning, and from there it amplifies across the platform as well, getting in those featured spots too.
Awesome, thanks so much. Cool, yeah, so we made it to the end here. This is the portion of the webinar where we have drawn a lucky individual who stayed throughout the entire webinar for a free consultation with one of our campaign strategists, where they will be reviewing the winner's campaign page. So again, in order to qualify, this individual had to stay the entire time. We've already drawn the number, and we found that the winner will be Elizabeth McNutt. So we have already let them know, and they will be the winner of this webinar. Yay. Awesome. Yeah, appreciate everyone joining. And yeah, thanks Amy and Megan for presenting this webinar. All right, take care everyone.
When you work with something that you're very passionate about and that is your dream, it makes you really proud. And to see the whole Indiegogo team working with us and helping us achieving that dream has been awesome.
Partnering with Indiegogo, we're able to bring these new innovative products to the consumers.
Pametech is high-tech corporation. We have always dreams of developing innovative audio device for music lover.
You can basically have a small dream that you want to realize, and you can actually build a campaign on Indiegogo based on that.
The best thing about launching a product on Indiegogo is the fact that they have a full series of services that cover it from the beginning to the end. It is a good way for us to learn more about our products as well as more about our consumers. And in the same time, it is also a process to help us continuously improve our products